Legalized marijuana for medicinal use. Voters in 2 states, Colorado and Washington, you'll remember, passed measures in November legalizing the drug for recreational use. And now 2 congressmen are behind a new bill that would regulate marijuana just the same way that alcohol and cigarettes are regulated. A new article in the National Memo takes a close look at this issue. Joining me is the editor-in-chief, Joe Conason. Good to see you, Joe.
Good to see you.
Jared Polis of Colorado, Earl Blumenauer of Oregon, both Democrats, are authors of this bill. What exactly would it do?
This bill would transfer the regulation of marijuana from the DEA, where it's now a substance, a Schedule I prohibited substance, to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Marijuana. It would become. So it would change the status of marijuana under federal regulation, and it would allow any state that wanted to legalize it, either for medicinal or recreational use, to do so, and not have the federal government try to stop that.
I was surprised, I think it was a month or so ago, that there was a Pew poll that showed 51% of Americans actually favor legalizing pot. That's a change. Do we know what's behind it?
Well, I think people have come to realize that prohibition of marijuana doesn't make any sense if you're not going to prohibit alcohol or tobacco, which I think most people now agree are more harmful than pot. I think people realize you're better off trying to regulate and tax a substance like this than trying to prohibit it and sending people to prison for this kind of offense.
And yet, in reality, what are the chances that a bill like this gets any serious consideration at all in Congress?
Well, I think Earl Blumenauer believes that this bill actually has a shot this time.
He does?
Yes, he does. Or if not this year, then in a session soon to come. So we'll see. You know, there's a growing feeling on the part of certainly agricultural interests and some others that, the time has come to try to produce this commodity, regulate it, tax it, and use some of the taxes.
Well, there you say something important. This is a time when everybody's looking at how do we get more revenue.
Right.
Has anybody done estimates for how much money this could mean, what kind of business this would be, and what it could mean to tax coffers?
I've seen estimates that are very high, and I've seen lower estimates, but certainly there would be, if you compare it to alcohol or tobacco, you would see billions of dollars in potential tax revenue, and some of it could be directed the way we do with other tax revenue to dealing with the consequences of marijuana use, some of which aren't so good. But certainly it's better than sending people to prison.
Do you see a big organized anti-pot movement? I mean, where's the opposition coming from?
There is opposition. There are people who favor what we call the drug war as it stands now. Certainly DARE, some of the organizations that are organized around narcotics control would oppose any kind of legalization. They've even opposed medicinal use. But I think you're right that there's a growing public consensus that this is not the way to deal with this issue.
I mean, there had been some talk about, federal enforcement of these federal pot laws in Washington and Colorado, where they did legalize the recreational use. The president has said he wouldn't push for that. Is that sort of a sign that there is this sort of
Well, I mean, we could talk about the president. We have a president now who not only admits that he used marijuana in his youth, but
and inhaled,
and definitely inhaled, and did quite a bit of it. So and he seems to have turned out okay.
Joe Conason, it's good to see you. Thank you so much. Today's tweet of the day comes from PR Week news editor Frank Washkuch, who said